Welcome, mankind community, to the Chairs Front Porch. I am Daryl Handsome, your chair elect. The Chairs Front Porch is hosting the elders and celebrating eldership in our times. This event is being recorded, and we will ask you to put your name and where you're from in your window. At this time, I'm going to hand the meeting over to our esteemed elder, Alan Barbusky. Alan?
Hey, thank you, Daryl. It's good to see all you folks here tonight. Welcome. It's been an interesting week, and I just want to have you take a look at the chat where you're going to see a message, and some of you may have seen it, celebrating eldership, its timelessness, and its vibrant presence in our times. It kind of, as far as my heart's concerned, that captures the energy for tonight. And I just want to, as we begin this, as you think about eldership, I invite you to think in your mind and your heart of an elder that you revere. Maybe they're not living. Maybe they are. Maybe they were an elder to you years ago, or maybe they're an elder for you right now. And if you could find one elder like that for you, and bring that energy of that person in your heart, carry it with you in this meeting. And I'm going to turn this over to Steve Schauer. He's going to bring us up with candles. I've got my candle here.
Thank you, Alan, and welcome, men. You were asked if you have a candle handy. Now's the time to put it within reach. And Alan's asked that you bring an elder that has the qualities of that you think of an elder having. Bring them into your mind and heart. And during the next few minutes, honor both that elder and also yourself. So I invite you from a place of stillness and of gratitude to let love fill your heart. Now, over the next couple minutes, when it's right for you, light the candle and honor those qualities you admire in that person as you bring them into your thoughts. And also acknowledge yourself and the beauty of what you bring as you bring the light into the world.
So thank you, Steve. I hope those of you who brought candles are lighting it, have lit it. And as you do that, I again invite you to think of an elder whose energy you will bring with you tonight. Steve, is there something you wanted to add also?
Just to, as elders, as we're celebrating eldership, to hold ourselves and each other in our hearts during this time as we come to discover what it is to be an elder in these times. And how do we bring the lightness into the darkness of these times as elders? It's the job we have, and we do it together.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you, Steve. And if you have a candle and can hold it up, let's see your candle. I'm going to keep mine right here throughout the evening. We're celebrating eldership right now. And this began in 2020 when we had a team of 6 elders and 1 young warrior spend some time together. And during that time of discernment and discussion, we came up with qualities that we thought were pretty important. And Kirby was a chairman of that group, so he's going to tell us about that.
Thank you, Alan. This is a list of the qualities that we eventually came up with, but to give you a little introduction, when we undertook this project, we were very unsure, with some trepidation that we decided that we would actually go about listing the qualities that we thought made outstanding or vibrant elders, and also that we would select people that we thought might represent these qualities. So these are the 4 main qualities, and I think that you probably can think of many, many others, things that you admire or you respect or you have seen in elders that you might emulate or appreciate or have in some way made an influence on you in your life. So the first quality that we actually decided was presence. This is a person who shows up, makes themselves present as presence, and that respects others, brings balance. I think that is very, very important as a quality, to bring a sense of balance and equanimity into the room or into the group, the discussion, and also to be available and listen. One of the greatest traits of being a good therapist is to learn how to listen and to really hear people with spiritual ears and not just everyday material ears, and learn how to stay balanced in situations. Oftentimes we meet many little crises in our lives, and sometimes we meet huge crises in our lives, and to be a presence for others that's stable and can hold that other person in their heart is extremely important that we felt. Humility, this is a subject I'm going to talk about a little more later on in the program tonight, but he brings wisdom to his community, and this is the part where you're keeping the ego in check while taking action. That is extremely important, to display and to feel a sense of humility and manifest resilience and persistence in a very humble and quiet way, and creates a legacy with relevant gifts to the world. I think every man, every woman present tonight has gifts that they bring to the world, and they will leave a legacy. Now, this is the third one, is hold space. This is a little more nebulous. It's a little more difficult to describe in words, but to hold the center when needed. It's a sense of, again, being in balance and having an awareness of everything that's going on around in your environment. And that is being able to have a real inner sense of what is happening and what is going on, and being able to stay with that, be aware of it, and if necessary, bring your own wisdom into the situation. And this is holding sacred or spiritual space that maintains safety for all. And we all know what that is. We've all been on the NWTA. We know what how we create sacred space, how we bring into a sense of a greater awareness and expansion of consciousness, so that we're not just coming out of our ego, but rather we're coming from a place of greater understanding and love for everything that is around us, and values, wisdom, and balance. Again, the balance is a word that keeps coming up, and it's so important. And then brings in heart and creativity, shows love and compassion. And the way to show love and compassion is to be love and to be compassion and to have a great appreciation of others and the struggles, the trials, and also the beauty and the creativity that others bring to our awareness. Honors all this, and then this follows on to honor the good in others. And then vulnerable and authentic. I've always, one of my favorite sayings has been, there's what could be more spiritual than being authentically who you are? In other words, showing everything you have, showing everything you are, and being transparent, and speaking from the inner center with respect. I think anytime we speak from the inner center, we're doing it respectfully, and we're doing it with great love and compassion. And so, as I said, this was fraught with some trepidation as we went about creating these qualities. And I know that others, but we had a lot of help, because there have been others that have preceded us through the many, many years of the elders in the Mankind Project, and others have talked about these, they've written about them. I remember like 20 some years ago reading a document written by Alan Gilbert that outlined some of these qualities of eldership. So, and then also in the ritual elder work, we have talked about this a great deal. So I hope you'll take this to heart, and I know that everybody out there has it. We all have it. We may not be aware of it sometimes, but we can find it again, and it's in there. Thanks.
Thank you, Kirby. And I'd like to just say, we see this as a comprehensive list, but certainly not exhaustive. And I think
right. Yeah.
Kirby made that clear. So these qualities are kind of the driving force as we developed Eldership Celebration Week. And we could go back to them. And I hope that they'll be embellished and developed further as time goes on by younger elders and new elders and so forth. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jerry Deutsch, who is the chairman of the MKP USA Elder Society. He's going to take us through part of our program tonight. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Alan, thank you. And before you leave the screen, please stay on there, because Alan Podbelsic, in recognition, Alan, you have given us so many gifts with your years of service, time, and energy that have enriched the Mankind Project and the MKP Elder Society. You continue to live your mission by bringing us connection, harmony, love, and especially playfulness. Your contributions, your commitment, your passion are standards of excellence that have become a platform for elders to follow. The lives of future generations will be the beneficiaries of all that you have done this week and for all those weeks prior to this week. We honor you on behalf of the Elder Society of the Mankind Project. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. This is that part where I need to look at humility, probably.
This is the part you didn't know about that was not
I know it,
scripted
I know
in
it.
this evening.
Woo!
Thank you, Alan. And then if Elliot and Ruel can join us whenever they're ready, I just want to really thank everyone for being here. The Elder Society has had a huge impact in my life. And, you know, I started out in Florida, and I want to just recognize when we were asking to think of someone, Pat Noon was the elder chair there and really gave great inspiration to me over the years. And then at the World Elder Gathering in Portland, where I met Michael Carr, and I met Frank Rodriguez, and I met Alan Podbelsic. It was just an organization that I have loved being in for the last dozen years or so. I have gained so much from being part of this organization but I gained, what I enjoyed the most was both what I got in my local communities, in my areas, and also when we got together for the World Elder Gatherings and the gathering and the United States gatherings of the usages. And it was so great to see men from all over the world together that had this passion, for both what it is to be an elder and to be a member of the Mankind Project. This is a great combination that I have relished over the years. So now, in this era of the Zoom, it's been easier, and there's been so much connection between elders throughout this country and throughout the world. It's been a real pleasure. And that's what that's what the Elder Society has stepped up and really brought connection between the local the local areas, and nationally and internationally. And we inspire, we connect, we bridge, and it's just a joy to be there. So just to speak about some of these things that we're doing, I'm going to ask Elliot or Ruel, whoever wants to go and talk about a little bit about what we're doing, what we've done this year, and what we're looking forward to the future. Perhaps
Thanks,
Ruel.
Jerry.
Oh, you want to go first, Elliot?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm going to add a little piece you didn't expect. I think it was 2015. I had just joined MKP a year and a half earlier and ended up in Hawaii at the World Elder Gathering. And I met this guy, Jerry Deutsch, who played a significant role in having that event take place. And at that moment, I knew that he had the leadership qualities we were looking for in the Elder Society. And when I asked him to be chair-elect, after a little bit of urging and caring, he finally accepted. And what touches my heart is my judgment was right. And Jerry has come in and continued the leadership in a way that represents elders. So I want to share a few thoughts along with recognizing Jerry. The Elder Celebration Week is a culmination of a year and a half of planning, of effort and energy by a huge number of men. And you've already heard about how Alan stepped up in his leadership role. It represents what elders honor and offer. We share, we celebrate, we recognize. And the week has had and continues to have participation by a huge number of elders and other people too, of course. It has brought us new energy. That's a key thing. It has brought us new energy. And for us, this is an opportunity to grow the Elder Society. Every area in MKP has elders participating this week, which is incredible. And I want to invite you all to join us to continue the sharing, the celebrating, and the honoring. There's so much more we can do together, and this is our chance to do it. So thank you for joining us here, and thank you for allowing me to share this with you.
Thank you, Elliot, very much.
Yeah, thank you, Elliot. I'm
I
Ruel
want to
Zach.
Ruel, let me introduce you, because what Elliot has done for me, I've done with you, and you will do with the next person. Because we do have this trilateral or whatever it is. And so Elliot is past chair, I'm the current chair. Ruel is the chair-elect, and will become the chair in January. I'm really looking forward to that because Ruel is so great. And to see who our new chair-elect will be, to have the opportunity to work with us. We're looking forward to that. Ruel, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I'm Ruel Zach. I have, it's been a joy to work with Jerry and Elliot and Alan and all the elders on the Elder Court, Elder Council. We have an amazing community, and I was just introduced to the bigger community. I was part of the Santa Barbara area, now the NorCal area. And I got introduced at the World Elder Gathering in Mexico City, and just realized we have some wonderful men that I want to get to know, I want to work with, I want to be a part of my community. And I invite you as elders to, any chance you get to know more of the men. The connection calls that we do every week is a one way. Just have an opportunity to do that. What I wanted to share tonight was a little bit about our future. I've been working with some great men in our community and technical guys. I want to share my screen to show you just a little peek of what we're going to be doing with the Elder web pages here. So I'm doing that right now, and we'll make this big. But fairly soon, well, this is already up, but you'll be able to see about the elder member information, Mankind Project elders. We're going to have menus. We're at the celebration here right now. But if you want to find out anything about the Elder Society, how we work, we have Elder Chair updates. We have Elder Court. You can find out about that. Elder Council, Elder Governance. All how to if you want to contact us. Here's places to contact us. Ritual Elders, Ritual Elder programs. We have a lot of things, and then we're going to have a lot of information on the site about what is an elder, elder projects we're working on, elder events that are coming up or have happened in the past. And then we want to have a place for elders to write and put something in the journal. Also, we're going to have the people we're honoring today and in the future on our web pages. So you'll be able to come back later and click on a man if you want to find out more about him. These are the men that we'll be honoring this Saturday. We're really honoring them all week. And you'll be able to go on here and see all these men that are being honored in the Mankind Project. Great bunch of people to get to know. So if you haven't gotten to know some of these men, this is an invitation to do that. Thank you. And that's what I have to show.
Thank you, Ruel. We're now going to ask some people to speak about their relationship to the Elder Society and MKP and how they celebrate eldership both in this organization and the world. And I'm hoping that Paul Pendler, who is the United States NWTA leader body chair, is still here. Is Paul here? And could you give us a few words? Thank you, Paul, for all that you have contributed to the Mankind Project and recently for your interactions with the Elder Society. Paul's come to some of our leadership meetings, and we've really greatly appreciated that. I'd now like to introduce Brian Harold, who is the Mankind Project chairman. And please, Brian, let's spotlight you. And
sorry.
Different Bruce.
Yeah.
It's a different look for Brian.
Yeah, I said, my gosh. There he is.
There we go. Hi. Hi, men. So I'm honored to have the opportunity to address you tonight. I'm very honored and thankful for the support that you men provide to the project. I was looking at Kirby's chart and noticing how many of those characteristics are also characteristics of good leaders. So it's not surprising that so many of the leadership in the project at the national level, at the individual constituency level, area level, community level, that the leaders are men from the that fit into that category of elders. So I wish to thank you, welcome you, and yeah, I also wanted to throw out the question that was asked early of who I looked up to. There's a man from Central Texas, Bob German, that's going to be honored later this week. And I just wanted to throw Bob German's name out here, who is one of my mentors. And with that, thank you for that opportunity, and back to you, Jerry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And just as here, just as we have a past chair and a current chair and a chair-elect, this is a model we're following throughout our organization. And I just want to introduce the MKP USA chair-elect, who you met a little earlier, but Daryl Hanson, would you say a few words about your relationship with the Elder Society? We'll spotlight you now. There you are.
Jerry.
Hey, Daryl.
Thank you, Jerry. And yes, I also will reference Kirby Benson's qualities observed in vibrant elders. In the part for presence, it said respect others. And that really hits home for me because in my upbringing, I was raised to respect my elders. And the elders get that respect until they no longer deserve it by their actions but for me, all elders get my unconditional respect. I sit on, I'm honored to be invited to sit with the Elder Society Advisor Leadership, which Jerry chairs, and a lot of wisdom is shared in there. Wisdom that of many years, many experiences. And I'll follow Brian's example and share with you an elder, actually two elders that I look up to. One is in my community, Larry Hurley. He's a ritual elder. And then another inactive ritual elder right now, Bill Hawkins, originally from Chicago and now living in my area of the Greater Carolinas. So thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Daryl. I mean, I remember when we met 10 years ago or so in the Carolinas, and so great to have followed our different paths and be able to come together and be on the screen here today. It's really an honor to be here with you, and thank you for your very kind words. When the leadership team advisors are just amazing. I agree, and a lot of them are here on this call as we are now. I'd next like to introduce some men who I respect a lot and who really give quite a bit to this organization. And those are the LKS lead men. Don't know if Matt Dirksen is here, but I do know Raymond Desaulniers is here. Carrie, we can spotlight. Raymond, welcome.
Yeah, Matt is here as well. I've seen him. I don't know if he left, but he's here.
I'm here.
Oh, good. We're going to see. There you are. Hi, Matt. Welcome. So
Go ahead, Ray.
Well, the elders that I have in mind is my old great-grandfather. His name is Josaphat Normandin, which was a force of nature. And the other elder that I really do admire is Steve Amen and Frank Berkeley and Yossi Picard from my community. Yossi is not active anymore, but he inspired me and inspired other men. And what can I say? Like Daryl said, I do respect the elders, and I wished I'd had more sense in my head being a younger man and go to them for their wisdom. I didn't do that, and I learned the lesson the hard way. So, and what I could say is, j'aimerais bénir tous les aînés de la planète, tous ceux qui ont cette sagesse, cette délicatesse et puis cette expérience de vie. Je les admire puis je les honore. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci, merci, Raymond. Wow, I just feel really deeply honored to be in the presence of so many men that I aspire to be. And first thing I thought of is that statement that we like to say in our organization, that we stand on the shoulders of those that have come before us. And so I look into this circle here tonight, and I recognize so many of you and how many of you model what it is to be, an authentic, grounded, connected, loving, and humble human being. And that just brings me such, deep joy and gratitude. And for myself personally, I just offer some shout outs to Emil Eric Hoops, who was a true mentor of mine in my latchkeeping days when I was a much younger man, and Alan Gilberg, who was my group facilitator, and in particular Richard Weiner, who I understand is not here tonight. I guess he feels like he's an elder emeritus at this point, and but he and I are still deeply connected with each other, and I'm ever grateful for all the wisdom that he shares with me. And so in the spirit of LKS and elders, one of the things that I learned early on in my days of learning how to do lodge work was to, amidst all the tools to bring, one of the tools that I guess learned, nobody really taught me it, I guess. I just started recognizing the need for it, which was to always bring at least a chair or two, because there was always going to be an elder at the lodge. And I felt that it was always important to have a chair for my uncles and my aunties, when they would show up at the lodge. And so that's what I think of when doing ceremony is where are my uncles and aunties, and how can I tend to them? How can I make sure that they're taken care of in a good way? Because they are the wisdom keepers. And just in deep closing here, I do wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the soil that I am standing on, and in the name of the original tribe here was the Tashtank peoples, which had become absorbed into the Piscataway peoples. And so I really do give thanks to their connection to the earth and the sky and the waters here. And I give deep respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. And with one final piece here, I know that in our culture in MKP, it is often that our elders are blessing the younger men. And my wife is Filipino, and in the Filipino culture, I learned early on that in order to, exchange blessing, that we reach our hands out. And what I learned pretty quickly was, in their tradition, it's the younger people that bless the elders. And so, having said that, I extend my heartfelt and humble blessing to all of you, and I bless all of you for all the beautiful work that you are doing for the people, and for just simply being present, for so much of the world is in turmoil tonight. And thank you so much for being anchored and grounded in the earth and in the sky. And I give thanks to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt and Raymond, and all the work you do in reminding us, you know, that when we are guided by spirit, we're going in the right direction. Thank you very much. Just want to exhale. And the next person I want to introduce, got rid of the, the next person I want to introduce is somebody who has really been doing a lot of work in South Central as well as national. Brian Siegel has been in this organization for a long time. He's been a ritual elder for many, many years. He sits on councils. He's certainly part of the MKP Elder Society, a very strong part that he rolls, and he will be the Ritual Elder Coordinator starting in January, following in Frank Rodriguez's footsteps. And those are big footsteps to follow, Brian, but there's a man to do it. I think that's you.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm still thinking about it. I want to say Frank would love to be here tonight, but he is hiking the Pyrenees Mountains in Europe for a month or 6 weeks. So he sends his best wishes and blessings to all of you. So this is kind of a dichotomy. What can ritual elders do when it's the no weekends and when there are no, what is it? Well, there's a lot of things going on that we are doing. And we found this time was a time to take a look at what we're doing and how we're doing it. We are working on revision of the certification and recertification process. We're updating the Ritual Elder Covenant. One of the things we're doing as a joint project, which is going to be phenomenal, and it's almost finished, is that with the elders and the ritual elders, we've been working on something called the Eldership Society Pathways. ESP1 is about what it means to be an elder, and it ends with an elder declaration. ESP2 is elders' role on an NWTA and in community. ESP3 is the ritual elders' role on an NWTA and community. And hopefully in 2020, all of these will be brought so you and everyone can join and sit down and have a dialogue about all three of these pathways that we can talk about. There is a brand new section within the MKP USA Elder website, which will be specially devoted to the ritual elders. There will be some other new protocols and things, and when they happen, we will be having what we are going to call the Ritual Elder Dialogue Zoom series, and we're going to work on that together. But what we really are trying to establish is a new path, a new pathway for the ritual elders and what we do. And one of the most important things is that we've stepped outside the box. There were ritual elders who helped participate and be a part of this weekend, this week. It's not, the concept has grown that the ritual elders today are not just ritual elders on the weekend. We are part of the elder community. And our intention is to continue to grow that and not have a separate relationship, but to have a co-relationship. We're all elders together in this process and in this work. There are about 50 of us, ritual elders throughout the 23 areas. Anyone who's interested in helping us on any of these projects that we're working on, the teams we have working, please let us know. We are here and we're open, and we are ready to go back to weekends, but we have a lot of work to do that we don't have to be on the weekend. Come join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for all your service that you've done over the years and currently what you're doing to get the ritual elders really up to speed when the weekends begin again. I know you're doing a lot of work and it's very much appreciated, very much. That concludes this section of our evening, and we're going to move into the next section, which is going to be a panel of some, in my opinion, incredible elders, men that have been in the project and have done tremendous service both within the project and in the world. And they're going to have a conversation. And I think some of the themes that have been touched will be broached. And one of the themes that I really am going to be listening for is how elders can support the reconciliation in this world. How we can, look at what's happening with the partisanship and separation and difficulties that are here. And what role do we have? How can elders bring people together and create that world that we want for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren? So I want to introduce Mike Bain. Do I see Mike there yet? No. Steve Frankel, great to see you, Frank. Welcome. Scott Letterman, who's just about 2 miles down the road from me right now. Kirby Benson, great to see you. Tom Riley, and Mike is here with us. So, men, the floor is yours. Scott, you're on mute, but please unmute.
All right, okay. I want to answer that question that you posed, Jerry, and somebody's got a phone ring, and I hope that's not mine. My question was that I was given to think about was what a world of trust looks like to an elder like me in this time of my life. And as you pointed out, Jerry, there's a lot going on here, and I'm noticing, sadly, a lot of separation. So trust looks like people talking to each other without fear and anger, without shouting, without separating. They're speaking in an understanding, respectful way, sharing and co-creating a vision for the future of a world that's safer and better for our kids and our grandkids and all the young people we know and love in our life, and even people we don't know. And I used a blessing that I use on the weekends when men are coming back from the PRC, coming back up on Sunday. And I say, live the greatest lives you possibly can. And that's what I want for the younger generations, and that includes anybody under 80 really right now. So let's look at it in MKP. What brings us here to this Zoom circle, this flat screen circle? The same thing that brings us to iGroups and elder gatherings, and for those of us who staff for the weekends. I've heard it referred to as the magic. And the magic for me is a safe place, a safe community where I can be myself. I can listen and be listened to. And I can be held and hold other men, no matter what I bring, whatever they bring, So for me, I think this magic, well, I know it began for me, and I think for many others on Friday night in the bright light of accountability. A man on a wall or somebody on the floor was talking to a man who was standing up. He was being held accountable, maybe for the first time in his life in a situation like that. And the question they asked was of us, do you trust this man now more than you did before? Because he showed himself to you, his vulnerability, his fears, maybe his tears, his anger, his numbness, his shame. He showed you who he was authentically. And then the man was asked to sit down, and he was not the same man. And I know neither was I witnessing that. And I don't believe any of us were when we saw that and experienced that for the first time. We may not have had language for it, but it was in here. It was soul work. So it didn't make any difference at that point. I'm going to say these words, and I don't mean to bring controversy. I mean to bring a space of inquiry, sort of both and, So when he stood there, it didn't make any difference. We didn't know him that well. We didn't know him at all. We didn't know his religion. We didn't know his sexuality. We didn't know how much money he had, where he lived, he was married, whatever. And we certainly didn't know who he voted for or what his politics were. It didn't make a goddamn bit of difference. So fist bump on that. So I know circumstances are changed, things are tenser. There's a lot more danger, it seems like, and that we're getting pounded day in and day out with the news, for those of us who are foolish enough to spend time with it. But we also talk about elders responding to the call of the times, and this is the call that I see. With MKP, I know there are communities of men who are looking at ways to bring men together, to create that both and at a local level. And I just encourage us to do it. I don't have any great ideas myself, but I do have a commitment to this. I do have a vision for it. And I like that question that we always ask, if not us, who? And if not now, when? That's what I got. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Scott. Very well said. Thank you. Who would like to go next? Tom?
I'll give it a shot. The topic I had was how I show humility while also being the strong elder I am. So I got here tonight, and as I watched the room fill up, and the second screen filled up, and then the third screen filled up, I felt like I did when I went to my first elder gathering. And on Sunday morning, the lead elder stood up and he said, if there's anybody here who would like to declare themselves as an elder, this would be the time. And I was dumbfounded because all those guys that I was looking at all weekend in awe turned and looked at me. And I said, I don't belong here. I'm not worthy enough to be here. And that's how I felt tonight as I looked around the room and I saw 75 men originally sitting here. A lot of whom I know and a lot of whom I don't know yet. But these are men that I have admired from afar. Often, it's turned out that I've worked with some of them. So how do I stay humble? I guess it kind of comes natural to me because I never felt good enough. I never felt worthy. And those who know me know that I'm pretty sensitive, and everything that I'm thinking shows across my face. I just can't help it. What helps me is to allow myself to be vulnerable. The vulnerability that earlier, that when I was growing up, I didn't dare let anybody see. I had to maintain this steely countenance. I was afraid I'd get hurt. And I looked at other men, other leaders and other ritual elders and LKS lead men, and I saw the strength that these guys had, and I said, wow, I wish I had some of that. And then I got a piece of advice, a tremendous piece of advice from another man that I have great respect for, David Bowley, on one of the leader trainings. And what he told me was, if you're going to be a ritual elder, do not ever try to emulate another man that you admire. Do not try to be somebody that you're not. You have to let yourself be who you are. And who I am is a very sensitive man, easily moved to tears, very caring, sometimes unsure of myself, with lots of flaws. So I let that show. And I guess I've been told anyway that there is strength in that, allowing that vulnerability and being authentic, being me. I'm not David Bowley. I'm not Elliot Bolin, and I'm not Jerry. And you know what? Over time, I've learned that I am okay. I'm not only okay. I'm damn good. And there is strength in that. So that's, I guess, how I show humility and strength at the same time. So I'll begin with that. And before I let go for somebody else, Scott, thank you for talking about getting along. And I know Jerry is also a champion of Braver Angels, and I'm a member of the Braver Angels as well. And one of the things that we together need to go do as we branch out into we is deal with one another in a respectful and trusting way. So I'm just applauding and putting a plug in for anybody to consider the Braver Angels. I'm in. Next man.
Thank you, Tom. I just want to acknowledge you not only for what you said, but for actually walking your talk. And I'm so glad you're you, because today I had an issue and I needed to speak to someone. And I spoke to you and you were extremely helpful to me. Thank you very much for being who you are.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm here in Boulder. Brooklyn boy, wind up in Boulder. That's a long story, and yet it's a short story because I think it has to do with what Kirby and Louis Batiste spoke about earlier in our conference about this eighth step in the elder journey, simply about letting my soul emerge. And if that's so, is it my job to provide the atmosphere, particularly as an elder, for the younger ones to have that place that they could, get a glimpse, if not a whole dunking into the beauty that they're living with all the time. And I'm a poetry buff. I love it, and so I love Bill Manwini's comments. He said something about, and my theme here has to do with connecting with these young ones. He said, as I walk through my last years, I am able to see younger men and women in their struggle to become themselves. And I bless them as they evolve rather than treat them as if they need fixing. Bless them as they evolve rather than treat them as if they need fixing. And myself too. Sometimes the phrase goes around, well, we're all broken men. Well, if that's useful to you for a period of time, okay. And when that place of origin, that image that you were born with in the center of your life, if that is nourished, well, then the journey that's a mystery isn't a fearful mystery. Some people say this is a mystery. It's a good word for me, but I see people looking 9 ways back and forth, afraid of the mystery, instead of and this is where I'm at these days, is I'm more and more amazed. I'll go out. I was up at Vale yesterday. The aspens are out. It's gorgeous. Our fall, and I just, I don't look at some trees and I say, well, that's an ugly one, and that's a beautiful one, and this one needs this, and that one needs that. I just say, wow, and I'm in amazement at the difference in variety. And yet, when I was a younger man, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I'd sit in a circle of men and I go, he should know this and he should understand that and he should. And as Mary Oliver would say, my work is loving the world. It's not so hard for me to love trees. What about seeing that core of people? So here's my little story. My grandson was over this last week. He's 3.5. He brought his little sister, who's 4 months old, and they brought their parents along too. You know, I'll accept them as long as the grandkids come. And we're inside the house, and he says to me, "Grandpa, could we go downstairs?" And I say, "Sure." And he says, we go downstairs, and it's become his kind of playroom when he visits us. And he goes over to his carriage that he has 3, he calls them his babies, and he starts to take them out, and he goes to the place where my wife has all these blankets, and he takes some of those out, and he puts it on the floor and says, "Grandpa, we're going to swaddle the babies now, and you need to do it really straight." And I say, "Okay, is this good enough?" And he says, "That's just great, Grandpa." And then he shows me how to fold it, and then he puts it there, and he says, "And now we're going to cuddle with them. Is that just like this, Grandpa?" And I go, "You know, I have all the time in the world, and he knows it." And I never say that to him in those words, like I have all the time in the world for you. But I have all the time in the world for you. And that's the grandfather. That's the elder. And I love that. And I love that I know at some level it's nourishing that image in the center of the life that's him, that soul of his to start emerging. So I love our connection with the younger folk. I'm in with that.
Thank you, Steve. Beautiful. And thank you for bringing in the trees and the connection of the trees that bring the beautiful oxygen to our planet that the young children need to breathe for their brains to grow. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for all the service you're giving to this project. Next man.
Okay. I guess Mark is going to go last, so I'll go next. And I had decided to talk a little bit about humility. I had mentioned that earlier. I think humility, like Tom said, sometimes we're born with it, but we don't know it. What we think it is inferiority, and we have a very low self-image. And then oftentimes, I know from myself, I compensated for that a lot by being obnoxious and acting out in other ways to compensate for my deep feelings of worthlessness. And one thing that, so really it's a matter of bringing it into perspective, isn't it? What would be the polar opposite of humility might be hubris. And somewhere on that continuum, we go like a rubber band back and forth. And so it's a matter of really bringing into perspective who we are. And I think humility has come through a greater understanding of the world and the incredible interconnectedness of everything in the universe and in the world, and how we're all connected in spirit, and we all are connected in our heart centers, and how we all are on the same continuum of life. And for me, humility has come with my expansion of consciousness. It sounds like an oxymoron, but it really isn't. Humility comes through a greater awareness of who we are and what our place is, and what our meaning that we derive from life, and what our mission, what we have finally decided and defined as our mission in life. What is our purpose here? And that gives us, I think that has certainly given me a sense of perspective in who I am and what I have to offer. I don't know if I don't think I show humility. Hopefully, I am humility, and also that I am a strong. It asks if I also being a strong elder, and I think I never think too much about it. And maybe that's because I have a certain degree, hopefully, of humility. Also, humility comes through suffering. I don't think there's any way around it. We can learn humility in life through our trials and the suffering that we go through as human beings and the losses that we have experienced in our life. And that also brings a greater sense of perspective, I think. And so the other thing they had asked, we talk about two things, and I had also wanted to talk about something that Steve talked about, and that is a connection with young men and women, what it means to me. And it means an awful lot. I don't have any children. My wife does not have any children. We've both been married before, but we don't have children. So I've made a lot of people my children. And a lot of the men in the project I made my children. And I love being with young people who have a sense of curiosity. And curiosity is the first step towards spirituality. It's the first thing we have is our curiosity. And we want to know what's going on. This just can't be the end of it here. This is what I see, but I know there's more to it. And that is curiosity. And when young people display a sense of curiosity, I want to support them in every way I can. And I want to help them increase their awareness and expand their awareness to where they get a greater understanding of, again, who they are and where their position is in life, and how beautiful they are and what the great potential they have within them. God speaks through every one of us, and everybody has something to offer and something to give to a life. And so I'm just so happy to be here on this event tonight. It's been so gratifying, and I want to just give my thanks to everybody that's done so much work to make it happen. And I want to say, bless us all.
Thank you, Kirby. And thank you for all you have put into this event and events in the past. You've got big shoulders, brother. Thank you for being here tonight. And last but certainly not least, a man I've gotten to know over the last few years and highly respect. And actually, we've done some work together, which has been really great. So, Mike, can you take us home for this portion of the event?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm the baby here. I'm the puppy that's just holding on to the strings of the other men that have already spoken. And the reason that I went last is because out of respect to them, they know more than me. And so I hold them. I hold them, I bless them, I honor them. I've staffed with some of them. I want to staff with other ones. Because you see, I don't ever want them to leave. I'm the kind of guy, I'm the kind of ritual elder that says, you know what? If you go to Emeritus and you want to come and staff a weekend, let me be the co-ritual elder with you so I can hold you up. So I can hold you so that you can do the things that you want to do. And when you can't do the rest, you just let me know and I'll take care of it for you. So that you're not cast aside to the wayside. Because you know what? You men matter. The one thing that I've witnessed through my 18 years in MKP is that MKP has a tendency to cast the elders to the wayside. They want them just to start the weekend off, set up the container, and then say, go fuck them, go away. Go away until we need you again. Maybe to do the talismans, to do the cleaning ceremony or the naming ceremony, something like that. But don't bother us about anything else. It's not your place. And rest assured, I'm the last motherfucker that they want to do that shit with, because I'm not having it. So I will calm myself down. I will be the young puppy. I will talk about spirit. You see, I always tell men that I am just a vessel. Spirit drives the bus. And because of that, there's been plenty of opportunities when I've staffed weekends as the ritual elder or just being an elder or being an LKS man, that stuff came out of my mouth that really helped somebody, that touched someone, that wrapped my arms around them. And when I was finished and I looked in the gleam in their eyes and I saw that they got something out of it, it was that one piece that they touched. And I thought about it and I said, wow, where the fuck did that come from? I don't even know where it came from. I wasn't even thinking. The words just came out of my mouth. And it was what was needed for the time. And you see, all of you men, whether you know it or you don't know it, you have that ability. Because spirit is in all of us. The only thing we got to do is just let our egos go. Let the thought of, I know. I'm the fixer. I know how to fix shit. I know how to make shit work right. I got to let that go. Because then when I let that go, this amazing, profound energy comes out and wraps the container. See, I tell people, when I was in LKS, I was a professional outside doorman. Because my heart was fucked up. I couldn't go no more into the lodge. So I sat my ass outside the lodge and I would listen and I would let spirit touch me and I would let it feel me and me feel it. And when I became a ritual elder, I became the outside doorman for the weekend. You see, we are all the outside doormen for the weekend to make sure that that container stays safe. That we hold that energy. We make sure that whoever's broke, whoever's going through psychic changes, whoever's really shining and with glory, and we just hold them up and say, damn, man, you're doing a fucking great job. Look at yourself, man. Look at all the people watching you. We're the one that toting them and feeling them and making them bigger and powerful so that they also become the pebble that goes in the pond that sets out the ripple. Because that's what this shit is about. It's about each one teach one, throwing the pebble in the pond and just watching it go out and creating a new, brighter, better world. A diverse world, because you know what? There ain't too many people that look like me on this call. Me and Daryl are just holding each other. Daryl's my ally. Larry Hurley's my mentor. Steve Stanley's my mentor. And Steve Shower makes sure that I don't fuck up too much. He tries to like hold me back, say, Mike, you gotta relax a little bit. But you know what? I love this work. I have a passion for this work. And I breathe it. And see, the new dance that I'm doing to become a better ritual elder is I'm stepping into Mondo Zen. See, the last year and a half, I've been digging deeper into Mondo Zen and doing my meditation and really touching spirit, touching another aspect of spirit. And just mindful, skillful, coming from the heart. And so I'm breathing y'all in and I'm feeling y'all. And the last thing that I want to put out there, because it's about, Kirby was talking about kids and about the younger ones. You know what? We're the legacy. We are the legacy. Because if we don't pass the story on and we don't pass the history on, then that history disappears. How this dance started disappears. The means of life disappears, and then it just becomes chaotic. You got the Generation X, Generation Z, millennials, and they're out there, and we can't leave them floundering. Because if we leave them floundering, how fucked up is the world going to be after we're gone? So I'm going to shut the fuck up because I think I said enough. I love y'all. I love y'all. And if you don't love me, well, I'm sorry. I am who I am. I'm the black man from the streets who was a junkie, who's got 28 years of recovery and just trying to pass the message on to the next man.
Sorry, Mike, you can try and push us away, but it ain't gonna work because you are loved and you're a wonderful guy to know. And I'm breathing you and I'm breathing in this entire panel. I hope everybody has done that because now it's your turn. Now we're gonna break out into some groups and have conversations about the conversation that we just heard. So I really wanna thank and acknowledge the panelists for your work and your delivery. And now we'll go to the breakout rooms and we'll continue the conversation. So Kerry, are you there?
I am here.
Great. You got the breakout rooms ready?
I do.
Let's do it.
How long will we have?
Oh, we'll have 10 to 15 minutes. We'll let you know in the room.
Thank you, folks, for sharing. I hope that it was a good experience for you. That I had a great experience, and we said we would be done at 9:30 Eastern time, and we are 7 minutes past, and I think we'll be done here. So thank you, man, who stayed. We were a little bit longer than we planned, and I want to just take a moment to thank so many people that made this week and this night successful and meaningful, at least to me. And I want to first thank Brian, Harold, and Daryl Handsome for opening the possibility of a Chairs Front Porch to we elders. I honor you and appreciate you. I also want to thank Steve Dower, who did the candle ceremony, Kirby Benson, Jerry Deutsch, Mike Baines, Steve Frankel, Scott Letterman, Tom Riley, Elliot Bolin, and Ruel Zach. And thanks to Paul, even though we couldn't stay to speak. Thanks for showing up. Thanks to Matt and Ramon and Brian. A special thanks to Carrie Bell. I just like us to give a blessing to Carrie for all he did. Thank you, Carrie. And so anybody I left out, my apologies. And Jared, if I didn't mention Jerry, I mean Jerry Deutsch as well. Anyway, I'm going to pass this on to Ruel Zach, who's going to take this home.
We started out the ceremony with bringing in some light with the candles. And so I ask you to take any light in your heart that you would like to share. If you have your candle, go ahead and hold it up if it's still lit. And as we extinguish these candles, let's send that light out into the world. Let's send this elder energy, this elder love, this elder humility, this elder presence that we have inside our hearts. Let's send this out into the world. So go ahead and extinguish your candles now and let that light out. Thank you for being here tonight.
Oh.
Namaste. Have a good night, everybody.